Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cantina Social Hour, very first episode of 2024. Hello, everybody. How's it going? How's it going? I see a lot of my friends are in here already. Hello, guys. How's it going? Hope everybody's doing well. I'm excited to be here tonight. Excited the show is back. And we have a lot to talk about. So just to kind of give you a preview of what's going to be discussed, we're going to talk about how Star Wars is for everyone, and why that is super important to know and to believe in. We're going to talk about something that I have coming up for the channel, a new project, maybe a couple projects. I'm not sure how much I want to say yet, but I'll talk about that. Talk about Star Wars movie news. We're going to talk about Star Wars The Vintage Collection March Madness, and then we're going to talk about new acquisitions, things that I've added to my collection. And yeah, and we'll talk to you guys, see what you got to do your collection as well. So I'm excited to see it, but I want to see who is here with me this evening. All right, Dodgson, how's it going? First comment of the new stream, new year, I guess. How's it going? Good to see you. Jason, how you doing, Jason? Good to see you, my friend. Paul, how you doing, Paul? Thank you for joining us. Jacob, how's it going, Jacob? We got Steven in the house. Steven, how you doing? Pico B1, how's it going, Pico B1? We've got Dave. How's it going, Jurassic Dave? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Very cool, very cool. Adam, how you doing, Adam? Thanks for hanging out with us this evening. Very cool. Tim, how's it going, Tim? Good to see you. Mary, how's it going, my friend? Thank you for hanging out. Britt, how's it going, Britt? I'm happy that you're here. Nice. Oh, thank you, Dodgson. Appreciate that. And then we have another Tim in the house. Tim, how's it going? Good to see you too. Darth Clueless, how you doing? Been a while since I've seen you, but I'm glad that you're here. 1/6 Scale Man. Hey, how's it going, my friend? Glad that you are hanging out with us this evening. Latoya T, how are you doing too? Thanks for hanging out tonight here in the Cantina with us. So great group forming here in the Cantina. Really happy to see everybody tonight. So initially I was just going to do this myself. No guests or anything. I was just going to have, welcome back. Welcome to 2024 Social Hour. But it's been an interesting last couple of days. So, that kind of got me thinking that, hey, I kind of want to address a few things. And, I think it was important to have other collectors on the show to help me do that. So I do have a couple other friends, a couple other collectors, Star Wars fans, huge Star Wars fans that are going to be with me here in just a moment. But yeah, so there's a lot to talk about, you guys. I guess I'm going to go ahead and lead with something here before I bring them in, before we get into all the other stuff. But I have been working on one of the things I have for 2024 is a brand new live stream. And it is something that I had been working on for some time. I was just kind of trying to figure out when is the right day, when is the right opportunity to do that. Because I'm pretty busy usually with work and just life can be super crazy. So I basically started working on this. And I'm happy to announce now, if you're here during Cantina Social Hour, you're getting this for the very first time. So Cantina Coffee Hour will be beginning in February. This is going to be a Saturday morning show. And it's not going to be every Saturday, but I'm looking for every other Saturday at this point. Maybe it'll turn into every Saturday. I'm not sure yet. I am not a morning person. I have to get up so early. I was up at 5:30 this morning. So I like to sleep in on my weekends, but so I don't know how often I'm going to do this, but Cantina Coffee Hour, it's basically what we do for Cantina Social Hour. Only difference is it's in the morning. And the reason I wanted to do this really more than anything else is because there's so many guests, potential guests that I'd love to have on the show, but unfortunately they're in Europe or they're in New Zealand or they're somewhere else in the world. They're in Japan. And by doing this enables me to get more guests on the show, people that I've known for a long time and have really wanted to get on Social Hour since I started the show in 2021. So this is a great way for me to do that. So you will see a variety of new folks on the show. So Cantina Social Hour begins in February. And yeah, I'm excited to do that. And I will show you, because I told you I've been working on this for a while. This isn't like a brand new thing. So if you remember the old Social Hour logo, this is what it was I had been working on before. Was that this kind of fits with the old look. But now, of course, you know, it's a new logo, so I'm going to do the first way that I showed you. And that was only a mock-up. It's not finalized either. But anyway, you guys, what's up? What's up? I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, cool. All right. So I've got two fellow women collectors, Star Wars fans, who are going to be joining me this evening. And it's a tale of two Chelseas. I'm not sure how that happened. But first, from the Boba Fett fan club, we got Chelsea Coons. Chelsea, how's it going?
Hello. It's going pretty well. How are you? I'm so glad to be here.
Doing very well. Thank you for hanging out.
Oh, of course.
And then I have, if you guys remember my last social hour, you know, the last one of 2023, I had our other Chelsea, Miss Vance, on. Chelsea, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm trying to stay warm, but
yeah, you were telling me that you're in Portland, that you're under like an extreme like winter storm warning kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like, I think, oh my goodness, I think it's like high 20s right now. They were originally expecting us to get snow today, but it looks like the majority of it is going to be tomorrow. I guess there's like this Arctic blast coming in from Canada that's very rare, and so the temperatures are like where I'm at might get down to like 15 degrees, which is like insane. I've never seen it that low. And I've lived here for 30 years, so it'll be interesting, but it's kind of like when it rains in LA, people don't know what to do. You know, they don't leave the house, but the problem is like the infrastructure here is just like it's like Seattle too, where it's not designed for like snow. People make fun of us, you know, because it's like we get an inch of snow and it like bricks the city. But people just don't know how to drive in it, and it's just don't leave the house unless you need to, basically. There's a lot of Google videos you guys can look up if you don't believe.
Yeah, no, we'll stay safe. Hope everything, you know, works out okay, and that everybody is not severely impacted by that. Right on. And other Chelsea. So how's the weather over there where you're at? Because I think you're kind of in a cold area too.
So I'm in New York City, and it's very weird. We've had a very mild winter. Like today, the high was 47, and it's January 12th, so it's a little bit weird. I don't know. The weather patterns just seem to be very different than normal. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I mean, there was that big blizzard that kind of like swept across the country, and then we were supposed to maybe get snow, but then it was just rain. So very weird weather. You know, I'm actually like not mad about it, but also I'm sad about, you know, climate change or whatever. So
sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, even here in SoCal, it's been like, you know, it doesn't normally get super cold, but it has been kind of cold the last few nights. Like I'm wearing a jacket inside the house.
Right.
It's for us, it's kind of chilly. All right, so I see a few new folks in the chat. Alex, how's it going? Alex, local collector here in San Diego area. I love reading the conversations that everybody has with each other. Jeff, how's it going? How are you doing? Trevor, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. All right, very cool. And Latoya T, birthday month, February. Nice. My birthday is actually this weekend. So I'm gonna be celebrating just a little bit maybe.
Is it Saturday or Sunday?
It is one of those 2 days.
One of those days.
Yes.
I have a friend whose birthday's tomorrow, but there's going to be probably a postponement of us celebrating.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Weather. All right. So, well, let me go ahead and switch the banners here. All right, so yeah, let's just get into it then. I mean, it's been an interesting last couple of days in terms of the internet, in terms of stuff that is being, has been said on, I'm not even going to say the person's name. I think most people probably know who it is. And I've never mentioned their name on this channel, and I'm not intending to do that now. So yeah, this person, has a big YouTube channel, and, I'll be the first to admit, I enjoyed that channel years ago, very early on, when it was just 100% strictly about Star Wars. Like, that's all it was. Like, the passion of, behind Star Wars. As time went on, though, I feel like this outlet revealed itself to be something a little bit that wasn't just Star Wars. So I tuned out, but sometimes things make the rounds, and it's important to address them, because if we just let things go, then I think it helps to, in some way, to perpetuate whatever streams of thought are being thrown out there that may be inaccurate. So basically, this person had a guest on their show. And I was still trying to wrap my head around it. That was, I guess, like their therapist or something. And it's like, okay, I'm not judging, but what must be going on with you if you have to have therapy on your YouTube channel in front of your millions of viewers? Like, that's pretty nuts. Anyway, so this guest made some claims that, women don't like Star Wars, that it should just be left for men to enjoy, and that it is, anybody that argues against that is basically playing the victim. Which is just nuts, because here I am thinking, oh, we're in 2024. Why is this even a conversation we have to have? Like, why is this even a thing? So yeah, we have to address it. And now, there's people that are, I do love the camaraderie I've seen as a result of this. There's so many fans on social media, Star Wars fans, men and women, mostly women, that are lifting each other up, that are sharing each other's love for Star Wars, that are celebrating each other, that are talking about why they love Star Wars. And that's part of the reason I wanted to have the two of you on here, so that we could talk about those positive aspects of why we love Star Wars. So we're not going to talk this whole time about, this other thing, but it's important to highlight that this did happen, that it's very unfortunate that people believe that way and make such ridiculous blanket statements about people that they don't know. I mean, it's okay if you have never seen Star Wars and don't care about it or anything like that, but to lump everybody into this big, all women, they're trying to get Star Wars because they want a piece of something that doesn't belong to them, that's just absurd. That is just wild. Like, wow. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'll chime in first. I think it's frustrating because, as women, Star Wars fans or collectors, there's fewer of us than those who identify as men, but there are a lot of us. Like, you go to any convention, and you see so many fans of all different gender identities and, ethnicities and, sexual orientations and everything like that. And it's frustrating that there's this very vocal, I think, minority of Star Wars fans who, for one reason or another, I think a lot of it has to do with they want to, get more views, and they know exactly how to stir the pot and get those views. It's unfortunate that they feel like in order to get those views and like make money, from their YouTube channels or anything like that, that they have to have these very ridiculous kinds of conversations when it's very obvious that there are plenty of women who love Star Wars, and there have been women who loved Star Wars since the very first movie. Like, there was a picture that was kind of going around. It was like a you know, a viral picture of a woman, and it was, you know, supposedly after, you know, the first movie came out, and it says that she was, you know, she had this X-Wing pilot outfit on, and it talks about how, you know, she had to go back and watch the movie a few times. And again, I don't know if that's like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, I know this is definitely true, but like, you know, there have been women who love Star Wars from the beginning. And what about Leia? Like, she literally saved like Han and Luke and everyone's butts multiple times in like those movies. And then you also go and you look at like the prequels, and Padme, like, women don't like Star Wars, but there's these like very powerful women who are always in Star Wars. Like, it just doesn't really make a whole lot of logical sense. And all I can say is that clearly they have run out of things to actually legitimately talk about and just want to kind of stir up the masses and, you know, make some money from those views. So it's
Right.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, I think, first of all, unfortunately, this isn't just a Star Wars only problem. As we all know, as collectors of other things, it just seems to be a continuous thing where thankfully, I have a lot of fellow friends and stuff that I surround myself with that do not think that way. And so, you know, it's good to have collectors, but any sort of group or anything, I think a lot of it in general, particularly towards Star Wars, a lot of the discourse the last couple of years is a lot of people, I think a lot of this issue was they were disappointed, or the like last trilogy wasn't what they were expecting it to be, and so they just blamed it on the fact that there was a female lead, or that the fact that the head of the studio was female, so you know it must be her fault. They're trying to push women, they're trying to push girls, so they create kind of this false narrative as like there has to be a reason that, you know, this is how it is. And it's very what they call clickbaity, where they know they'll get the views. And it's very unfortunate, and people buy into it. I see it every day online, and it's literally every fandom, really, which is very sad. I will say this, the Jurassic fandom does seem to be a little bit more open, but all the other fandoms, usually I've encountered, people don't tend to be very like female friendly. Or you ask, hey, when are we getting a female figure? And it turns into, oh, well, those just shelf warm, those don't sit. Like, I got into a big fight a couple years ago with somebody online, and I was like, never again, it's not worth it. You know, like, you try to defend yourself and they try to like twist it around that you're attacking them. I'm like, I'm not attacking you, you're the one that just came out of the middle of nowhere and did the attacking. But yeah.
Right. And then you respond to it, and then it's all of a sudden, oh, you were triggered by it because, you know, we made these absurdly ridiculous statements, and now you're having a reaction. So it's like, oh, so just let you perpetuate this false narrative.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
I won't get into terms, but I mean, we all know the terms that they've used and said and everything. So
yeah, there's definitely a lot of that. But yeah, I mean, it's just pretty asinine. Like, I mean, like y'all were saying, like, there's Star Wars is really has been rooted in some of these like strong female characters since the beginning. And Jason made a comment here about Marsha Lucas, who, you know, helped with the original Star Wars, you know. So I mean, like, was she like some of these labels that they slap on just because? I mean, it's just because you're a woman that automatically means that you're X, Y, and Z. And like, I mean, I just don't get it. Like I was saying, it's 2024. Here we are. Like, you would think, and you know, that there's been like progress in some respects, and you know, no, undoubtedly there has been. But then you see, you know, the snakes rear their heads in certain ways that just makes it apparent that not everybody has really evolved, not everybody's really grown in ways that you would expect, and they just remain like toxic. So yeah, I mean, I try to look at what good can come out of something like this. And like I was saying, like I love what I have been seeing like since yesterday on social media, where a lot of girls are posting their pictures, at Galaxy's Edge, at Celebration, at Comic-Con, with their getting the signature from their favorite Star Wars actor, posting pictures of their collection, just whatever it is, and they're just kind of celebrating each other and celebrating, their love for Star Wars. Like it doesn't matter what the fandom is, and Chelsea, you're right. Like it's not just Star Wars, but I mean, why can't anybody just like whatever they want? Like really, why is it controversial for that? It's like if a guy wants to like Barbie, okay, like I don't care. Like I don't think anybody does. Let them welcome. Like the more people that like these things, the better. Because then you have more passion, you have more excitement, you have more people to talk to about it. You have more people celebrating their love for whatever it is. So yeah, so it's a positive that I'm focusing on is these really nasty comments are made, and maybe some people might give said person a pass just for being ignorant about it, but at the same time, if you're hosting somebody like that makes a comment on your platform, then I think it's kind of incumbent upon you to counter it with facts that which who the fans are, what they look like, what the contributions of some of them are to this saga that we all know and love. And, that person did not do that.
And I think the thing that's really frustrating to me is it's very clear that this is part of this like so-called like culture war where, there's, a lot of people who are playing on things like male loneliness and, feeling isolated at these like younger ages, which I think all of us can really relate to that. There's sometimes that you do feel isolated. And so they're kind of like playing off people's genuine emotions and the troubles that they're going through, and they're bringing people together, but not in that positive way. It's in this negative, like your problems are because of women, or like that kind of a thing. And it's frustrating because they could be a source of good. They could bring those communities together and be like, hey, let's celebrate the things that we all love. Like, plenty of us know so much about Star Wars and all these other fandoms, and it's frustrating that they, for the kind of cliques or for this kind of like culture war, weird sensibility, they make these kinds of claims to make people upset when it's like, why can't you just accept that people like different things? It doesn't matter who you are. If you like Star Wars, that's amazing. Like, we should all be so happy that the fandom is growing. And I mean, the thing that really kind of stuck with me is thinking about the fact that there are a lot of little girls and, teens and stuff, and even like older women, that when the sequel trilogy came out, they think Rey is amazing and they see this strong female character and she's inspirational and she makes mistakes, but she like really triumphs, and they're going to grow up and they're going to be able to see like the new Jedi Order movie with Rey being more grown up, and like it's bringing more women into the fandom. And I think that's an amazing thing. It's frustrating that, they disagree with that, or they disagree with that for, engagement on social media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we live in these divided times right now too, and people take advantage. And when people I think it's when people are down or they have something, people have found a way, I think it's just in general, like weaponize things. And it's sad. And it's really sad. And it just feels like I'm not allowed to like this thing. Like, why am I not allowed to like this thing? And I feel like that's kind of been a lifelong battle. And almost in a way, it was kind of comforting when, this newest trilogy came out. And it's like, regardless of how you feel, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, you know, I see so many like items and toys and clothes and just like in general that they market towards girls now for Star Wars. Like you go to Disneyland, you can see it. You see like the commercials for Disney, you see it. You know, they try to hold doll, you know, they've done multiple things over the last 10 years since I guess it's been about 10 years. It's been a little over 10 years since they've had the license now. I want to say Disney bought the license from Lucas. I can't believe it's been that long, but
Yeah.
it's you you know, I think it's just one of those things where, you know, growing up, you know, when they did the re-release in the 90s, which is when I was introduced to Star Wars for the first time, you know, it was always marketed towards boys, and I never got anything Star Wars. My brother was the one that would get Star Wars stuff. Or he would get the Power Ranger stuff, or he would get Pokemon, like all the things that we both collected. It was always he would get it and I wouldn't get it, and I would get something else. And it was like, oh, well, I didn't know you were into that. Girls aren't normally into that. And I would just be like, Mom, why didn't you tell them? And she's like, oh, well, you know, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
I totally relate to that. I mean, I remember, you know, my brothers, they're all much older than me. And so they actually had some of the original Kenner toys. And I used to play with those like all the time. And when the Phantom Menace came out, I remember pod racing, obviously, but also because I was like 7 when it came out. I remember Padme's outfits, and that just like captured me, and I loved it. But the thing is, you know, it's not like my parents were necessarily, it's not like they were keeping things from me, but like those weren't the toys for girls, right? So it's
Yeah.
like I'm not going in those in the boy aisle or anything. So I kind of like lost that kind of love of Star Wars for a while, and I eventually came back to it. But you know, it sucks that we kind of like missed out on those opportunities. And I don't know if this is like the right time to do it, but I have to show you because I, being an adult with disposable income, right? Like that's the greatest thing. Like these, I have all of these. These are like my favorite. These are some of the favorite parts of my collection. Like, okay, I have to show this other one. I brought them. I got them off their very special shelf just for this. This one where they're in the throne room.
I've been looking for that one actually for a while.
This one was like tough to find. I had to pay a little too much money for it on eBay. But you know, being able at this age now to be able to kind of get those things that I missed out on, or like really start to love those things, it's been a huge joy in my life. And you know, I don't think anybody can take that away from us.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of great comments I'm seeing here in the chat, and you know, some new folks that are joining us. It's awesome to see everybody. Layla makes a good point here. People forget that George's original idea was to have a female lead. The male gaze was when it comes to strength displayed by women is display. Star Wars has always been inclusive. Star Wars is for all. Yeah, I actually have an action figure of the protagonist from when it was supposed to be a girl, and you know, when Luke was a girl, or you know, before it was Luke. So yeah, that's absolutely true. I think, you know, a lot of people have failed to realize that, and those that you know should know better willingly omit that from their memory when at times that they should not. So good point.
I also want to specify that all of the females in Star Wars are portrayed as like strong, like independent women. You don't like you got a little bit, you know, there were things with Leia at the beginning a little bit damselly, but she was like, you know, she kicked butt. Like, you know, Padme kicked butt. You have Ahsoka, you've got Rey, you have literally like there's not a female character that's really portrayed as like, you know, the damsel that can't do anything, or anything that they try to like stereotype women in a lot of these types of, you know, particularly sci-fi, you know, back in the day. Not so much now. Women are very strong. Like even if you look at Star Trek and everything, like women are very like portrayed strong these days. But like even, you know, originally like Star Wars has always featured strong, like headstrong women, you know.
Yeah, there's a question here from Darth Clueless about what line was that figure came out. I just found it, so I'm going to go and pull it up. This is from the 30th anniversary collection when they were doing the McQuarrie figures. The figure is just called Star Killer Hero because that's the original. You know, it wasn't Skywalker, it was Star Killer, and she was a girl. And they did a Ralph McQuarrie based design into an action figure during that line. So it's a pretty cool figure. It's pretty unique. I'm sure they'll never do that again, but it is definitely a fun one.
I've got to look for that one now. Now I'm like, ooh, next time I go to a convention, I'm going to be like on the lookout for it. So, or eBay, but you know, don't tell my husband. Okay.
Nice. Yeah. So like I said, I don't want to like dwell on the negative aspects of this. So what I kind of want to talk about though is why we like Star Wars. You know, what was it about Star Wars that drew us into it? I know y'all have mentioned a couple of things here and there, but why is it that we love Star Wars? Like, what got us into it? Why do we keep coming back to it? Why do we still invest so much disposable income, like you were saying, Chelsea, into this hobby? This what is it? Miss Bance, I'll start with you.
You know, for me, I think it was just people often get asked this. You see that question about like, oh, what do you love about Star Wars? And it's just like across the board, like and because it's kind of interesting too, because I'm not usually like a huge science fiction person, and Star Wars just feels so different. It's like, yeah, it takes place in space, but like it's this adventure. It it's camaraderie, it's family, it's these like universes and gadgets and ships and lights. It's everything. It's these weird, I think it's just things that it introduce you to things that like you'd never really seen or experienced before, so you're like, oh my gosh, that's cool, that's cool. And then it just kind of became like, you see it at a certain age. I think was like 7, 8, I want to say, when I saw the original trilogy for the first time, which is probably the perfect age. I mean, I'm sure things went over my head. You walk back and watch it as an adult and you're like, oh yeah. But I don't like, it's hard to pinpoint, but I think it's just, it leaves this little excitement in you that a lot of other, like, and people will, they'll talk about, the franchises they love and everything. But I think that's the thing with Star Wars. I think that's why, and why it's been for everybody, is that, you can sit down and watch it. Your mom and dad can sit down and watch it. Your significant other, your brother, your children, like everybody, grandma, like, you go to the movie theater, and I did work at a movie theater when Force Awakens came out. And I will tell you, it wasn't primarily men. In fact, I don't even know if it was half. It was just across the board, children, adults, men, women, like there really wasn't a gender. Everybody. It was one of those movies where everybody, kind of like when the Marvel movie comes out, everybody goes to see it. It's not necessarily like a male or female based thing. It was just, there was an excitement and everybody wants to see it, which is kind of rare these days. Still, and 45 plus years later, you think about it, and I think we're heading, it's awful to say, but we're heading almost into the 50th anniversary now of the original Star Wars. But like, it's maintained. It's also multi-generational. So you have people that were kids when the first one came out, and they had, I mean, we're into like 3 generations now of, people that saw Star Wars, and then their kids and their grandkids. So I think it's just, it's kind of like a cultural phenomenon in a way, But sorry if that was too much.
No, that's perfect. Chelsea?
For me, it's clearly the discourse about trade routes in the Fandom. No, I'm just kidding. I think what the other Chelsea was saying, something that really struck me, was kind of like family and like that found family aspect. I think we can all relate to that, right? And like, we all feel kind of like lonely sometimes, or maybe we feel like we don't belong. And you kind of get the sense that Star Wars is something that like it does transcend generations and different people, and there's just something about it that has that like spark of magic. And obviously, you know, it's very cool like scenes with special effects and that kind of thing. That's really cool, but it's cool to see media where you see all these different people who are just so different in their characterizations. They come together and they solve a problem, they triumph over evil. I think that's something that's really captivated me. I mean, also the trade routes, you know, that kind of thing was really great as a 7-year-old. But you know, I think the other thing is also kind of like this, like the merch aspect. Like George Lucas was very smart about that whole thing because, you know, you make a collection, people love collecting things. And I think there's something about it. Like you get your first toy and then it just becomes like, it can become like a little bit of a snowball, you know, but it's it's cool the kind of people that you meet talking about your love of Star Wars and all the people that we've all met at conventions, I'm sure, that, you know, come from all different walks of life. I love seeing all the different people and like meeting people at like Star Wars Celebration or at Comic-Con, and we're all fans of the same thing, and it just feels like there's like magic in the air when you're in those environments. And I don't know, that's just
100%.
part of the experience.
Yeah. 100%. The people that need to go to like Star Wars Celebration, these conventions the most, are the ones that are spewing all this negativity. Because when you go there, you're just immersed in this atmosphere of positivity, of love for Star Wars. It doesn't get, you know, you don't see people arguing about the minutia of like, oh, you know, this detail, you know, shouldn't have been done. You know, it's all like there for just the pure love of Star Wars, right? So yeah, no, I completely agree. Like those conventions are so essential and they're so awesome just to be there and connect with other people. Yeah, like for me, I probably saw it. I don't know which one I saw first. It was one of the original trilogy, and I wasn't around when the original trilogy came out, but I was around when it was already like on TV and on VHS and such. So that was my first exposure. I think through my mom, I may have found like seen one of the originals, and then, you know, it was 1995, The Power of the Force 2, you know, when Kenner brought back the figures, and that's when I began collecting during that era. So, but I think what drew me to it most because, you know, Power of the Force 2, that time frame, that's when I was kind of able to understand the films, and I was kind of at an age at that point where I was able to really appreciate the story. And I think what really drew me to it is I was able to connect with two things. I was able to connect with the fact that it was just this pure like feeling of, when I watched it, of joy and escapism that I really relished as a kid, even now, because I was, you know, I was a different kid. I had a hard time getting along with others my age, and you know, and my mind was always kind of like outside of myself, and I was very observational and taking things in and processing things at a very deep level, but not necessarily engaging in what was going on around me. So I needed things like Star Wars and those other franchises I gravitated to kind of like put myself into something that was inspirational to me. And now as an adult, I know there's labels for you know, the way that I was back then, but yeah, no, I loved it. And I also, the second thing is like Luke's character I really related to as a kid, because, you know, I grew up in a really small town in Texas, and it was, you know, it was like Tatooine, really. And, you know, everybody wanted to get out. Eventually I did. And yay. But yeah, I just really connected to his like longing for adventure, longing for something bigger, something that was more adventurous. And then, you know, just as he went on his hero's journey and was, you know, these horrible things, you know, Vader's your father, like put in front of him. And then him still being able to persist and continue and to fight and to still choose to do the right thing at the very end, you know, in that last film in Return of the Jedi. And to me, that was just really like something I connected to and loved. So, you know, he remains like, you know, one of my favorite characters. But yeah, like it just, even as an adult now, it's still a pure joy, escapism. Obviously, you know, I have this collection and that too is part of, you know, what kind of reinvigorates my spirit and kind of, you know, when I've had a long day at work, I can come home and just kind of immerse myself in my little creative space and do my own thing. And that's what I love. Um, but yeah, I mean, and then, you know, the story has continued, right? And not everybody has to love every aspect of Star Wars, but there's something in there for everybody, I feel like. Focus on the parts that you love. And if there's something that you don't love, well, let that go and let other people enjoy it. There's no need to harp on it all day long on Twitter. But yeah, the story has continued and grown, and it's great to see new fans coming in. It doesn't matter to me if you've been a fan for 30 years or you've been a fan for, you know, 30 days. Like, a fan is a fan. If you love Star Wars, you love Star Wars. It doesn't matter, like, you know, boy, girl, whatever. Like, you know, we're here because we love this stuff. We love talking about this stuff. And through sharing that passion with others, we're able to connect and to have, you know, conversations and to just share in that passion. So, you know, the world is such a much better place because Star Wars exists.
Totally agree.
All right, so I'm going to take a little gander into the comments because I'm not ignoring your comments. If I see, you know, I've seen people come in and say hi. I'm not, I promise I'm not ignoring you. Welcome. Thank you for being here with us. I really appreciate you guys. Didn't get addicted to Star Wars until Force Awakens was in cinema. Now I love every Star Wars movie, shows, love toys. That's what it's all about. Like, you know, it starts with one thing and then it just goes from there, right? Just like with the collectibles, right? It starts with everybody starts with one action figure, everybody, you know, and then it's 2 action figures and 10, then 20, then 100 and so forth. That's how it always starts. PGB wants, the celebrations are all about the Toys for Me. Announcements are just a bonus. Yeah, there's so many things that you know, these shows that you can experience, and it's great to just take it all in, you know, no matter what your focus is. Going back to your comment, Chelsea, I think about the Senate. Still can't believe some ETs were really in the Senate. Yeah, I mean, the trade routes are probably their fault. They probably had a hand in that. That's how they ended up on Earth. I don't know. It's funny, this comment, Adam, I like it. Isn't it ironic that so many of us resonate with Star Wars, in part because of not fitting in or because of found family themes? So I discard people in the fandom and say you don't belong here. That is very interesting. That's a really good thought. Yeah, I mean, I think absolutely. That's why I connected with Star Wars as well. You know, that whole found family aspect of it is such a critical story. Like, to me, that is like the most important story. You know, you cannot help where you were born, who you were born to, what your immediate circumstances were early on, but the people that you find in your life and you choose and that choose you, they don't love you because they have to. They love you because of who you are. And so, yeah, that's a very essential story. And I think Star Wars just excels at that. Absolutely. Yeah, great comments all through. I wish I could highlight them all, but there's so many. There's so many.
I wanted to highlight one that I saw that I can't find it now, but they were talking about like the difficulties that people of color also deal with, like in this fandom, and some of the, you know, like straight up racism that, you know, people of color deal with in this fandom. And I just wanted to shout that out and say, like, I've seen that. It's awful that it happens, and like, I think we can all come together and just, we can make the fandom better, and like, we will make it better. Like, I really believe that, like, the terrible people will be gone eventually, and, you know, we can all lift each other up.
Yeah, totally. No, that's a great sentiment as well. I don't see the comment myself, but thank you for alerting me to that. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Star Wars is for everyone. Gatekeeping is terrible. Don't be one of those people, please. And if you are, then you really need to kind of reflect on what it is that makes you feel that you are more entitled to enjoying something than someone else, because that's just wrong. Yeah, so thank you both immensely for partaking in this conversation. I don't want to keep you if you're busy, but you're more than welcome to stay if you would like. Hopefully everything is okay there, Miss Bant, so far with the weather.
It's still just cold outside, thankfully. I mean, there are parts of our deck, because it had rained the night before, that are in the shade that have kind of frozen over a little bit. But right now it's just bitter cold. So I know that my housemate went out and she iced the deck about an hour or so ago. So we're preparing, and none of us have to work this weekend. It's a holiday weekend too, so I don't know. Most of us don't have to go back to work until Tuesday, and yeah, so it should be it'll be fun. It'll be fun. But yeah, I need to go see what they've got going on up there, because we have to kind of check in and see and make sure. But it was great being here again and being with other Chelsea.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you.
Super nice to meet you too.
Yeah, but it's but yeah, no, I think there's definitely a lot of things we could talk about. I mean, we could spend hours talking about this subject, and as you were bringing up in the comments too, like, and a lot of the stuff with, I won't get into it, but it wasn't just, females don't like Star Wars. There's been a lot of stuff with like people of color and a lot of that type of stuff. I know Kelly faced a lot of like flack in this last one, and it wasn't just because she was a woman. So, but
no, I mean, the representation in Star Wars absolutely 100% matters. I mean, we live in the world we live in with the people we live in it with, right? You have to see everybody. People need to see themselves in the heroes that they look up to. So, I mean, that's absolutely essential. And I just don't get why some people don't comprehend that.
Yeah. But anyway, it was great being here with both of you. Let me know, Victoria. I'll definitely come back in the future.
Yeah, for sure. No, thank you, Chelsea. It's been great. And yeah, stay safe out there. Stay warm. And yeah, we'll definitely hang out again on Such Hour soon.
Yeah. Bye, ladies.
Bye.
I'll be here in the comments. Like, I don't have to be on film, but I can
yeah,
comments.
Sure. For sure. Well,
Cool.
Thank you too, Chelsea, for being on here. Great conversation, and always appreciate hanging out with you.
Oh yeah, Victoria, have me on anytime. I love talking with you. Thank you all for also tuning in and being kind. I think that's so important. Like, the world needs more kindness, and we can start here in this particular Cantina social hour. Like, just be kind to people. So yeah.
Yes, good point. This Cantina, anybody and everybody's welcome in this Cantina. Anybody. If anybody says otherwise, then they're out of the Cantina.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. We'll see you soon. All right. Bye. All right, you guys. So thank you to those of you who are still here. We're going to continue. We still got a lot to go. It is the first episode of the year, so please hang in there if you're still hanging out with us, and if you need to go too, then this will be published later. So, all right. So, I do want to move on. So there has been some Star Wars movie news. There is a new movie coming that nobody knew about, I guess, until a few days ago. The Mandalorian and Grogu. So I'm going to bring up the announcement from StarWars.com. And this is a brand new film. So I don't know what it means for The Mandalorian, like season 4, if it evolved into a movie or this was always the plan. I have no idea, but I'm all here for it. These are two of the biggest characters that Star Wars has introduced since the Disney takeover. So I'm looking forward to this. I mean, any Star Wars on the big screen is Star Wars to be excited for. So yeah, this is cool. I'm pretty elated to know I'm gonna be able to see the Mandalorian and Grogu on the big screen. Din Djarin and Grogu. So that'll be really cool. That'll be really cool. That it just kind of came out of left field, but I'm really looking forward to that. Other than that, we also had an announcement for Ahsoka Season 2, which is, I was going to say equally exciting, but for me personally, this is even more exciting. I'm super stoked about this because obviously that story is going to continue. Obviously, they didn't tell the full story in Season 1. There's a lot of loose threads. It ended well for a first season of a longer story, but clearly there was more story to be told. So it's really cool that we're going to, this is just confirmed. So I think we all suspected there would be a Season 2. And yeah, that's a good point, Chelsea. The art is really nice. I love the art here for Season 2. I guess it's probably like storyboarding or just Filoni doing his little sketches that he does on napkins and stuff. But yeah, no, this is awesome. So obviously this part of the story, Ahsoka and Sabine continuing on wherever they are out in this new galaxy, it's going to be interesting to see how it ties into the whole Mortis arc, the Mortis story, the Mortis gods. So I'm excited to see that. That's going to be really neat. Because it's only existed really in Star Wars animation through the Clone Wars. And I'm just really eager to see how they're going to portray that in live action, like how that's going to work. And what they're going to do about, recasting Baylan Skoll, because, I mean, obviously there was still more story to be told there. So I'm eager to see how they do that. So that's going to be very interesting to find out. But yeah, I don't know exactly when Ahsoka Season 2 is coming out. All it says is this is development. I'd imagine it's probably going to be at least 2 years, if I had to guess. Maybe longer, but hopefully no more than 2 years. If this is early development, then yeah, it could be 2 to 3 years. So what do you guys think? Are you excited? What are you more excited for? Are you more excited for Ahsoka Season 2? Or are you more excited for the Din Djarin and Grogu movie? Let me know. Let me know. All right. So next thing on my list that I have here is Star Wars SWTVC March Madness. So let me go ahead and pull this up. So this is just starting this month. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up SWTVC. They are my friends here in the Vintage Collection collecting community. Something went wrong. Oh my goodness. And they've been doing this. I think this is the 3rd year, I want to say, that they've been doing March Madness. And basically what that is they say, hey, send us a list of your top 25 most wanted, newly tooled the Vintage Collection figures. That means brand new from scratch figures that do not utilize pre-existing tooling. Send a list of 25 figures, and then week after week they have voting, and then they get narrowed down in March Madness style brackets that eventually result in a winning character. And this has been a really great program in previous years, and we have had figures that have been made, I believe in part due to things like this, and things to like Last Figure Standing, which, if you watch my interview with Emily Cantaloupe, who is the senior design manager on Hasbro Star Wars Vintage Collection, she explained that, these kinds of programs do have a huge effect on influencing Hasbro's decisions when it comes to making figures. So, this is a really important thing, and it's awesome that this community engages in this way, because we're supporting the continuation of these product lines that we love. So if you want to submit your top 25 list, go to SWTVC on Instagram, and they have a Google form. You can send your top 25 through. And if you want to change your list, you can go back and edit your list. That's not a problem at all. So that's a really cool thing. And, you know, like I said, I love that this community does stuff like that. So I do want to show my personal top 25 that I picked. So I want to go over this. This right here is my personal top 25, 100% newly told figures for the vintage collection. Of course, number one is the Tonica sisters. As you guys may know, the Tonica sisters, and we didn't get to talk about this before we went on holiday break. They won last figure standing. They were the last figures standing. So they won. I'm eager to see how it plays out in March Madness. And then number two, Kira. Why do we not have Kira in this outfit in the vintage? Why is there no Kira in the vintage collection? Like, why? What the heck? We have Han, we have Lando, we have a couple of the troopers, but we don't have Kira in TVC. They need to do Kira, and they need to do her in this outfit because, you know, long time overdue. And I will just say the numbering of your list is important because the way that SWTVC assigns points is based on your number one figure and then so on. I think each one is worth like more points the higher up it is on your list versus like if your figure is number 25, it's worth less points. So it is important the way that you number them. Number three, so Luke Skywalker, which I'll just rattle off. Number 4, Han Solo. Number 5, Ben Kenobi, because these are part of the core characters from that first film. And they have not made updates of these figures in 20 years. Like, why? Like, how is that even a possibility? Action figures are better than ever now. They could do amazing things with these figures like today. So I'm really hoping that they do that and update these soon. We know Princess Leia is coming, brand new sculpt, because they did pipeline her before, but we haven't been given any information on the other big characters from A New Hope. So I hope that we get those announced sooner rather than later. My number 6 is Anakin because it's freaking Anakin, my favorite character. And also we haven't gotten, it's been almost 20 years. 2005 is when we got the last like all new Anakin sculpt with nice articulation. Can you believe that? It's been that long. So yeah, we need to get a new Anakin as well. And then, you know, we get into newer content for number 7, 8, and 9. So I have Baylan Skull at number 7, Shin Hati at number 8, because you got to have the two of them, right? You can't just have one of them, in my opinion. And then number 9, you know, Cobb Vanth, like Hasbro's done a really good job with TVC when it comes to The Mandalorian, but for whatever reason, they haven't done Cobb Vanth, and they haven't done Peli Motto. And like, I think both of those like really need to be in TVC. I don't have her on my list. She would have been probably like 26, but yeah, we need both of those, but we especially need Cobb Vanth because, you know, Timothy Oliphant too and all that. Just saying. Number 10, you know, Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan. That's another one that we haven't had a brand new sculpt of in a really long time. So we need him. Number 11, Asajj Ventress. They've made figures of Asajj in 3 3/4 inch, but it has been, when was the last one done? Would have been the Clone Wars one, I think, and that would have been in 2008. Overdue. And she's a big player in the Clone Wars too. So number 12, I have Chancellor Palpatine Senate Duel. This, of course, is where he reveals himself to be a Sith to the Jedi Masters of the Jedi Council. And he pulls the lightsaber out of his sleeve, and he does his creepy spin where he lets out that spooky like scream, and then he cuts them all down in no time. Yeah, they did that figure back in 2005 when Revenge of the Sith came out, but you know, it was fun for the time, but you know, they need to do a new one. And what I liked about the old one is that it had the 2 heads and the 2 sets of hands, so that you could give him like the wrinkly like head that's after the Force lightning hits him, or you could just have the normal head. So I would hope that they would do that on the new figure too. And then number 13, Baze Malbus. So Rogue One came out in 2016, and we're still trying to finish up the main characters from Rogue One. So that's why I have him right next to Bodhi Rook, because we need those two. Once we have those two, we've got the main crew from Rogue One. But until they do that, we don't have them. So, you know, they need to do those two. We just got director Orson Krennic, with a great figure, but he's the villain, right? We need the core crew from Rogue One, and by finishing those last two, we'll have them. If they're going to do a new Senate duel Palpatine, then you got to have number 15, Mace Windu, because Mace Windu is sorely in need of an update. I think the last one was 2011, I want to say. And I don't even think that one was a completely brand new figure. I think it borrowed parts from older Mace Windu figures. So we need that one updated. Number 16, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. They did do the Force Awakens Kylo Ren, but we don't have an unmasked Kylo Ren in the Vintage Collection. And I think the best way to do that is to do the Rise of Skywalker version where he's the Supreme Leader, because you can then have the helmet, you could have the unmasked head, and you would get the helmet that has the cool, like the red on it, the red lines, and then you would have the cape you could put on him or not, just depending on how you want to display him. So we need that one. He's the main character, so we definitely need to get him. Number 17, this is where my Cantina aliens start. You guys know I'm big on my Cantina. Arleal Shus has never been made into an action figure. He was kind of removed when they did the special editions. George Lucas replaced him with another alien called Melos, and it's more of like a lizard looking thing, but Arleal Shus is still in there. He's at the very opening, the very first shot of the Cantina, where you see Hem Dazon, that little alien head that just like pops up and like tilts its head like a puppy. You see Arleal Shus sitting behind him. So he is still in there, even though George Lucas cut his like main like standalone solo shot. Number 18, another Rise of Skywalker figure I have, Emperor Palpatine, Sith Eternal. This is where he comes back not rejuvenated, but like reinvigorated in his ultimate form. So we definitely need to get that, because that was a, you know, it's Palpatine and it's a unique look, and I know a lot of people want that figure. Number 19, Dryden Voss, another figure from Solo. Like I said, we need Kira, but we don't have any, like, other than the troopers, we don't have the main villain of Solo, which is Dryden Voss. So we need him. Number 20, Wooher, the Cantina bartender. He passed away a few years ago, the actor. I remember posting about it somewhere, but the last one they did was in 1998 or 1999, Power of the Force 2, the Comtech, I think it was, was it the Comtech or was it the flashback scene? You guys let me know if you know, but that was the last time we got Wooher, and there's only, he has a cup permanently affixed to his hand. So no matter how you pose his arm, he's holding that cup. So we need an update on Wooher. Number 21, I got Moma Nada on Hammerhead, because Hammerhead is another one that has been done a few times, but we haven't had him done definitively. I love the 2006 version, the Saga Collection version. That's the last one they did, but we need an all-new sculpt that can sit, because when you see him in the Cantina, he's sitting down, and this one is not sitting down. He can only stand up because he doesn't have jointed legs. So yeah, we need to get an all-new one for Hammerhead. Number 22, I've got Admiral Wolf Yularen from Andor. Of course, he first appeared in A New Hope on the Death Star, and then he was in the Clone Wars, very prominent in the Clone Wars, especially the earlier seasons. And then we saw him in Andor, and he's like pretty evil. And you know, power corrupts, right? So that's, you know, he's definitely evil. He doesn't look anything like the actor from A New Hope, which is interesting to me. I kind of feel like it would have been cool if they would have done his eyebrows like to match, you know, just by like lining them on a little bit more to match A New Hope. But it's still, you know, I'd love to have that figure because it's an easy one for them to do also. Number 23, I got the Snow Trooper. Hasbro loves to do troopers. I love to collect troopers. A lot of people love to collect troopers, but we need the Snow Trooper because that is one that has not been done since 2006, I want to say. Number 24, I got Dorme. This is a character that, for whatever reason, I just loved when I saw Attack of the Clones back in the day. Like I love, that Padme had her own handmaidens, but this one was played by Rose Byrne, who went on to become a pretty major actress in her own right. And she played even though it was just a small part that Dorme was in Attack of the Clones, like she played that part to perfection. Like she's just really, really good in that role. So I've always thought since then that she deserved a figure. So yeah, it would be great to have her back. And I think she was in the Vader comics, or am I think? Oh no, that wasn't Dorme. That was it Sabe? I think I didn't read them, but I know I heard about it. I think it was Sabe actually, maybe the one that was played by Keira Knightley. It's interesting that both of them played handmaidens. And then number 25, this one's a deep cut. And I kind of had fun with my last pick. This is Peppy Bo. It was kind of like Jar Jar's sort of girlfriend in the Clone Wars. And I just always loved the color. She's like a purple Gungan, and she has like this teal outfit. Like it's just cool. It's just fun. So I wanted to have fun with my last slot. I almost went with B. Arthur's character from the Star Wars Holiday Special, but I'm like, nah, I got to get Peppy Bo on the list. So here she is at number 25. And I wouldn't be surprised if I'm the only person that has Peppy Bo on the list. Yeah, I wanted to get her on there. So this is my list. Like I was saying, March Madness finishes up in March, hence the name. But you can submit your top 25 list now through SWTBC on Instagram. Hit them up. Shout out to those guys for all the hard work they do and putting into, this thing. Because I know it's like a multi-month-long endeavor. And I know there's a lot of data collection and a lot that goes into this. Lots of hard work. So props to those guys, John, Evan, and all you guys. You guys know who you are. Tyler, thank you for your hard work on that. So that's my list. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing that right there. What is next on your list, Victoria? I'm glad you asked, Victoria. I guess I want to talk about the Cantina collection. Before I go into new acquisitions, before I go to stuff that I've gotten, let's talk about the Cantina collection. So I did see a couple comments here in throughout the chat. And I know some of you commented on the video itself, but who has seen my collection displays video, the Cantina collection? I just published it this morning. It went up at 5 a.m., which is standard time for my videos. I don't know why, it just is, always has been. Yeah, so I had been on YouTube almost 11 years. It'll be 11 years in April, and barely now, after all this time, have I shown my collection and what that looks like. So I have been, like you guys know, I've been collecting since I was a kid. And I've loved toys. I've loved the imagination, the way I've been able to express myself through collecting and become inspired and become reinvigorated. That's why I started YouTube. I wanted to show pieces that were in my collection. But this was the first ever collection video where you take the full tour of the Cantina collection. So it is an hour and a half long. I had no idea it was going to be that long. Like, I honestly thought it was going to be 30 to 40 minutes when I first started working on it. I started filming this back in September. And then, I started adding things to the collection so that the shelf display would change a little bit, and I had to keep going back and reshooting and updating. And as you guys know, Hasbro has been releasing a lot of things in the last, not so much this month, but from August until November, it was just nonstop crazy. So I had to keep going back and adding stuff. Even the Jurassic stuff, I had to go back and fix the shelves and add stuff. So I had to keep reshooting things. I wanted it to be as current as possible. And now that I got to a point here in January where it was like kind of more, stuff has slowed down, I decided, hey, I just got to do it, finish it, edit it, get it up. The video is an hour and a half long. It is ridiculously long. But so, if you can't see the whole thing or you can only watch it in chunks, thank you. I appreciate that. But I do want to pull that up for just a moment. I'm not going to play the whole hour and a half video. Not that anybody was thinking I was going to, but yeah, that wouldn't be possible. I mean, we could do that, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. So this is the video, the Cantina Collection Toy Room Tour.
Sorry, Sue, I can't get the Wi-Fi.
No one can. We got rid of cable internet. Rising price.
Oh yeah. And yeah, I'm not immune from ads on my own videos either. So here we go. So yeah, so basically it just showcases my entire collection displays. Not my entire collection, only my collection displays. Okay, only my displays. Only the things I am able to display. I have a lot in storage. There's no possible way I could put everything on the shelves because I just don't have a ton of space to do that. But I have my favorite things on the shelves, and I tend to mix things up. I tend to, when new things come out, I put them on the shelves, and I put other things into storage. And then sometimes I just want to kind of go for a refresh and then bring things out of storage and put them back on the shelf. It just depends. But I like to keep things fresh. I always say that my shelves are always evolving. They're alive. My collection is a living and breathing thing, in my opinion, because it's, as a collector, we're always adding things to our collections. So it's always growing. It's always changing. You know, sometimes we do downsize. So, you know, that is always something that happens. So I'm just going to kind of run through like the main part. So, you know, I have the vintage collection all around the room. They're kind of like a border that goes all the way around, most of the room anyway. Let's see, from there, it kind of goes on to some of my Marilyn Monroe statues and figures that I have. As I mentioned in the video, I love Marilyn. Like, she's a huge inspiration to me. She was the first woman to own her own production company in Hollywood. She basically was an orphan. She came from nothing, and then she became Marilyn Monroe. So that, I mean, how's that not inspiring? My Toy Story stuff is really one of my favorite shelves to look at, because this is the Mattel Toy Story signature collection, most of these. So they are meant to be the same size, shape, exact toys that Andy has in Toy Story. So it's really cool that they actually brought them to life. And I mean, not literally like in the movie, but just as you see, you know, on my shelf here. You know, those are a blast. So I love those. You can see I do have one Barbie. I have student teacher Barbie, and that's because I'm a teacher, so it kind of just made sense. There is another Marilyn statue, beautiful statues. You can see I have some Star Wars posters behind there. And then it goes into my Hot Toys displays. I have 3D toss. I actually have one in the garage. It hasn't been assembled yet. I installed all the lighting on these, and yeah, so I only have Star Wars in the DTOS, but I do have a few Marvel and DC figures as well. I also have a Jack Sparrow figure, but I only have Star Wars in the DTOS currently, anyway. And these are also, I actually need to update these because I've had some new ones come in. I had Reva come in. I had Cobb Vanth come in. I've had the Purge Trooper come in since I've updated them. I've had Loki come in, which he wouldn't go in the DTOF anyway. But yeah, like you can, like, here's just a few of them really quick. Like, I mean, they're just so beautiful. They do such a nice job. Again, I'm not going to show you the whole video and everything because that would be crazy, but here's just a few of them really quick. Like the Emperor, like that is the most dope looking figure. Yeah, these are all just awesome. So cool. Like that mall is rad. Got my Praetorian Guard. All the rays. Yeah. And again. And then it moves on to my Hasbro Star Wars display that has mostly a 3 3/4 inch, but also a little bit of Black Series. So that is another shelf that I have over here to my right. It's against the wall to my right. The Hot Toys are over here, like my 1 o'clock, I guess I would say. They're this way. And then I also have the other shelf. Man, this is a long video. The other shelf is basically this right here. So it's It's all Star Wars 3 3/4. So there's the sail barge, there's the Razor Crest, Cantina, diorama. It's a lot of that, and you know, it's a lot of fun, like just recreating these moments from the film. Leia. I have a lot of fun with these setups. Mandalorian. Peek inside the cantina. Peek inside Jabba's palace. The skiff. I've got clone troopers. Lots of clone troopers, actually. There's Ahsoka leading him into battle. 501st. I got like an Order 66 display. These are cool. More clones. I love my clone troopers. They're some of my favorite things. Then we have Jurassic World. Yeah. Please. Told you I'm not immune to ads. Yeah, so that's my Jurassic World stuff, or some of it. And then I have, we're almost done. And then it kind of goes into like my throwback shelves, like my real Ghostbusters. Those are the reissues. My Batman Returns from early 90s. I have a lot of nostalgia for this toy line and for Ghostbusters. But yeah, so like the Batmobile, like that's a really cool one to have. The Batman you see on the left with the yellow holding the Batarang up, that was my very first Batman action figure. My dad bought it for me, and I think that's part of the reason I love action figures is because my dad bought me that Batman figure when that movie came out in 1989. But also I have a video coming up all about that. I'll tell you more in just a little bit because I do want to talk about that. Then I got my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles by Playmates. These are all reissues. I lost all the originals that I had as a kid for some reason. Don't know what happened to them. And then I got some Kenner Jurassic Park. You know, I love my Kenner stuff. It is some of the coolest stuff. Like the Red Rex, I still remember waking up Christmas morning and there it was. My grandma bought it for me. And then I have some more new Mattel Jurassic World stuff, like all the vehicles, all the main characters from the original film. Like that's where my heart is really, is like that original movie. Then, you know, more stuff here, Jurassic. Got that Steven Spielberg figure in there. The 93 collection. And then some Dominion stuff. Some Camp Cretaceous stuff. And then I have kind of like this random shelf that has some random figures on it. So like there's like Jack Sparrow is a phenomenal figure. That Michael Jackson figure is phenomenal. Those are both SH Figure Arts. That Queen Elsa is incredible as well by Figma. And then we get into Batman 89, which, you know, Michael Keaton is my Batman. I love all iterations of Batman, but, you know, that original film, like, the nostalgia is right there. Got the McFarlane Batmobile. Some more Batman figures from Arkham and New 52, Batman Beyond. Got the Sky Striker. Some Beasts of the Mesozoic. Got a teensy bit of Harry Potter. Dark Knight Trilogy. More SH Figure Arts, like the Harley Quinn figures, which are pretty awesome. Batman the Animated Series, including the Batmobile. And this is a really cool one. It's another shelf, but I have like this Julie Newmar signed picture and then her statue. I forgot what company does it. I know I say it in the video, but right now it doesn't come to mind. But yeah, Julie Newmar is awesome. And Eartha Kitt. Like, how amazing is it that both of these women were Catwoman in that original series? Eartha Kitt and Julie Newmar. Just freaking awesome. Love both of them. And I met Julie Newmar. I just ran into her walking around LA. So I had a great conversation with her. I talk about it a little bit in the video. But yeah, there's some indie There's a bit of Dragon Ball. There's some Spider-Man. We got some Go-Go Power Rangers. And then we got some droids. So there's a little bit of everything in this video. I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there. If you want to check it out when you have time, like I said, it is an hour and a half. It is ridiculously long, but that is probably the best look at my collection that you're going to see for a long time. It's taken 11 years to do this video, and I don't think I'm going to do another one anytime soon. It would have to take some major change, like moving into a whole new like home or something, for me to do another video right now. But yeah, that's basically that for the time being. Yeah, so that is the Cantina collection. The video will be on YouTube, I imagine, for perpetuity. I don't know how long YouTube videos will last, but like this stream could be like on YouTube for like the rest of time. I don't know. I have no idea. I could be talking about this for the rest of time on YouTube. I just don't know. I don't know how any of that's going to work. It's pretty crazy to think about, though. And even if it gets deleted, does YouTube still have like a backup or a backup to the backup? Like, you just go down the rabbit hole, like thinking about stuff like that. Thank you guys. I'm seeing your comments now. Adam, thank you. Yeah, you got to pause. You got to take breaks in there. Mary, I'm glad you watched it. Thank you so much. I had it with your coffee. Nice. Tim, yeah, the Toy Stories they're a blast. Always in motion, the collection is. I like it, Chelsea. That's a good one. Madonna's Material Girl, I think, was based on that version of Marilyn. Yeah, Tim. So me and Tim left a comment in my video. He knows. I love it because Tim knows a lot about the classic Hollywood films, like I do. Like after like these fandoms that I love, you know, the Star Wars, the Jurassic, the Batman, like all that stuff. The other thing I love is there's other things too. Like I'm multifaceted, so I also love. I love Marilyn Monroe. For the reasons I outlined earlier. I love Disneyland. Like I have, if you've ever become interested in Disneyland, I have a podcast called Discoveryland that I need to get around to finishing. But I started it a few years back. It's about the history of Disneyland. And then I love cars. Like I grew up around cars because my grandpa owned a car dealership. So I love cars. And if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know that I love cars. So those are things that I love. Woody going to move any second? Who knows, Rob? I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. Actually, I did a TikTok on that where he does move. Or did I move him? Or did he move on his own? I don't know. Yeah, Jeff got Ghostbusters. Camp Fam for life. Yeah, Britt, totally. Isn't it wild that Jenna Ortega voiced one of those characters? And I don't know if Brooklyn is in season 2. That'll be interesting to see if she's in season 2. Cantina collection. I was thinking of the Cantina movie. Julie Newmar, Tweeterhead. Thank you, Mary. And I know I mentioned it in the video, it escaped my mind. It was Tweeterhead that did it. I Am Immortal. I don't know about that, but one of my older brothers would get into Marilyn Monroe, and I think James Dean used to love to draw sketches. That's awesome. I've been working on an image of her for a while. I need to finish that too. I love a lot of things. So like I obsess over things in chunks. Basically, I'll become obsessed with something, then I'll step back and I'll become obsessed with something else, step back, go on to something else, come back, and then I'll always find my way back to those other things. But I'm just like all over the place. Like my passion for everything is just unfathomable, honestly. Like even for me, it's kind of overwhelming. All right, so let me look at my list here and see where we're at. I know we have a couple more things to cover. Have we only been going an hour and 24 minutes? It feels longer. Let's see here. Okay, let's talk about upcoming videos, okay? I'm going to throw this back in here really quick because if you came in later, you may not have seen it. So I'm just going to mention it again really quick. But I did at the top of the show announce an all-new series on the VC YouTube channel called Cantina Coffee Hour. And it's basically exactly what we're doing right now for Cantina Social Hour, but on Saturday mornings with coffee. And it's not every Saturday. It's going to start in February, but it might be something like every other Saturday. And the reason I'm doing it is because I want to have more guests on that live in other parts of the world that are not able to be here with me on Friday night. So I just wanted to put that back out there in case you came in late. So I just finished the collection video, as you saw, but I'm also working on it. I know I talked about this one, a couple of months ago. That is the Japan video. So I was in Japan from late September to early October for 2 weeks. And, it was my second time there, and, I adore it. I could live there. Honestly, I feel like I every time I go, I just want to stay, really. But I'm working on that video. I shot 150 videos in Japan, and I'm trying to narrow them down to just one YouTube video that's not an hour and a half like this collection display video. So I'm hard at work. I'm still editing. I'm still churning. I'm still trying to narrow it down and produce the best quality video possible. Like, I took my good equipment with me. I want to do it right. I don't want to just crank out a video just to crank out a video. That's not how I operate on this channel. I want to make sure that if I produce a video, it's going to live up to my own personal standards. It's going to live up to the quality that I like to produce. So I want to do it right. I know it's taken a while, but I am making progress on it. I am actively editing the video. And I do fully intend to have it out this month. I have every intention of having it out this month. In addition to that, I have another video that I alluded to when you were watching me go through the collection video about Batman. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in just a little bit. There is also an episode of the Vintage Collection podcast that I recorded with Chris. With Chris from banthaskull.com. My friend Chris, we've connected on TVC podcasts before. Still haven't gotten him on Social Hour. Chris, you need to stay awake so you can drink some coffee and you can be on Social, or maybe you can be on Cantina Coffee Hour. So I have him on the next episode of the TVC podcast, and that should be out in about a week. My goal is to have it out by next Friday. In addition to that, I am developing another series for the VC YouTube channel. I don't want to give out too much information on it yet because it is something that is actively being developed. But what I will tell you is that it involves comic book shops. It involves independently owned toy stores. That's all I'll give you right now because I am still ironing out the details and I'm still am ironing out the schedule for it. But it is going to be a brand new series on this channel. And it does involve comic book shops and independently owned toy stores. So I'll tell you that much about it. I am excited for it. I think it's going to be fun, and it'll mix things up a little bit. Apologize if I look sleepy. I am very sleepy. So yeah, those are the things that are currently in development. I do want, before I get to new acquisitions, before I talk about that Batman video thing, and before I go back to show you some of my recent pictures and stuff, I do want to go through the comments. I see a couple of new friends in here. Hey, Aries, how's it going, my friend? What a collection preview. I'm still looking forward to bring more coffee to watch the whole tour because I still hope I'm watching this live. Love it, Aries. And let's definitely connect soon for Cantina Social Hour or Cantina Coffee Hour. Who knows? Or both. Yeah, thank you for being here. I'm glad that you are here. Man, you guys are talking about ghosts. You want me to do videos about ghosts? Can you imagine? That is totally a channel I could I wouldn't do it on this channel, but that is totally something that I could do is like a paranormal YouTube channel. I could totally see myself doing that. Like one about UAPs or UFOs, just the unknown, right? The afterlife, ghosts, all that stuff. I could totally see myself doing that on another channel. Maybe I should start another channel. But then again, I have a hard time producing content for just one channel. So maybe I shouldn't do that. That's kind of what got me into trouble before, because I had Victoria's Cantina. I had the Vintage Collection podcast, Cantina Chatter podcast, Discovery Land. I was doing the Collect Jurassic World podcast with Tim from Collect Jurassic, Cantina Social Hour. When I start diverting my attention into too many directions, I can never finish anything. So, yeah, Cantina Ghost Dare, Tariq, yeah, definitely. That'd be a good title. Manic Mike, how's it going? What is your favorite new Star Wars miniseries show? Thanks in advance. You know, I just rewatched The Mandalorian season 3, and I liked it better than I did when it was on air a year ago, or almost a year ago. You know, I feel like for me personally, I would say the Ahsoka series, but it's right up there with the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian for me personally. Andor was excellent, but it's a different type of Star Wars. So it wasn't one of my favorites. Certain parts of Kenobi were awesome. But yeah, if I was just going to pick one, I would say it would be probably Ahsoka. Not to say that it was perfect, because it wasn't. But it had the bits of Star Wars that like really resonated with me personally, like the mythology, like the, you know, what is the Force? You know, what is that? How does that influence what a person does? Bringing back Anakin for the flashback and or the World Between Worlds sequences was incredible. Yeah, that I'm rewatching Ahsoka right now, and you know, I just watched that episode yesterday, and like it still hits me in the feels that we got that. Like Anakin or Hayden is like the heart and soul of all Star Wars. Like right at this point in time, like he can do no wrong in my book. Let's get more of him. Stay on target. Stay on target. Either ghost or something alive knock something over. Yeah, Tim. So I'm trying to see what that was. I was looking over because I have caught ghosts on. Oh, this is what it was. I'll show you guys. This is the second time this guy's committed shelficide. So it's this right here. It's is it Genghis Frog? Is that his name from the Playmates Ninja Turtles? He committed shelficide. He jumped off the shelf. Frogs jump. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Or maybe it was a ghost. I don't know. I don't know. I only pretend to know because I don't know. Too many mysteries. Immortal in the YouTube Tron world. Milky Way Skywalker, what's up? What is up? Ghostbusters. Yep, I love me some. Did you guys see the pictures from the new Ghostbusters? It has the OG Ghostbusters in it. I love that. I mean, I know they were in the last movie, but I am hyped for the new one. I love those guys. Like the original Ghostbusters is in my top 5 favorite movies of all time. So I am hyped. Yeah, tons of comments this evening. Thank you all so much. I'm with you on the Mando season 3 watch. Was better for me second run through. I feel that way. Yeah. Mando season 3 only worked week to week because we didn't know what was going to happen. A second was more enjoyable even after the first watch. Yeah, it is really good. It is a more cohesive story for sure. So no cat or mice locking toys over. My dog is not in here right now. She is in the other room. And she wouldn't be on the shelf anyway because she's a dog. So was sobbing watching Hayden and Ahsoka. He deserves so much love after the hate he got. Absolutely. 100% Chelsea. He does. He deserves it all. Hayden can do no wrong. Joseph. The collection flows around us and binds us to all living things. Nice. Clean Trooper displays are superb. Thank you, Jason. Took all day watching it on Breakout. Nice. Yeah, some of the best comments, Jason. Fitmatic, how's it going? Dorme does show up in the comics. The Living Handmaidens do, but Sabby was a star. Nice. I'll need to look that up. Was Dorme the one that got killed at the start of Clones? No, that was not Dorme. That was Corday. That was Corday. I feel like Mando season 3 ended well, but the Jack Black episode was painful. It's still kind of a little jarring. I'll admit that it is a little jarring watching that one. So you have the rare Ahsoka Jedi Starfighter. Yes, I do. All right, so we are going to move into our final topic of the night. New acquisitions. You are a collector, are you not? All right. So this is the part where I show new acquisitions that I've added to my collection since I was last live. Let me jump over to Instagram because I know I put at least one of them on there. All right, let's take this off for a second. All right. Okay. So Riva. This is why Hot Toys are masters right here. This is art in its truest form when it comes to action figures. Like, she came in this week, I unboxed her, and I was like, oh, what an amazing figure. The likeness here is perfect. Perfect. She is so good. She is so good. I had a lot of fun taking pictures of her yesterday afternoon. Yeah, she's it is such a good job. Some people are sleeping on this figure and they're probably gonna regret it because she's like really amazing. Like easily one of the best, I believe. And you know, I have a number of Hot Toys. This one is good. Really, really good. Yeah, so that's probably the coolest acquisition I've had this week. But this isn't the only Hot Toys I've had this week because I've also gotten other Hot Toys I was mentioning earlier. I got Cobb Vanth. I got the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I got, what else did I get? I know I got something else and it's escaping me right now. What is released recently? I got another one. I know I got another one. I'm just trying to remember what it was. But yeah, like I haven't opened those other ones yet, but this one is awesome. This one is truly, truly, truly awesome. So that was the it's killing me now that I can't remember what figure came in this week. So yeah, that's all I've had for that I published on Instagram, but I do have some other things here. This week I did get the Star Wars The Black Series Starkiller. I didn't buy the deluxe set, but I bought the standalone figure. Starkiller from The Force Awakens. Or sorry, The Force Awakens. The Force Unleashed. And he's pretty nice looking. I got him. I got a Jurassic toy from Walmart.com. This right here. This is a really cool one, actually. It's called the Crash and Attack Ford Explorer. And so the Explorer is battle damage. It's kind of like crunched up, but if you pull it up, you can make it whole again, and it looks perfect and brand new. Then you can see there's a Velociraptor right there. It was a really nice set. I bought two of these because I really liked it. One of them you can see in the collection display video. But I wanted to have a second one as a backup because this is how good it is. Because of how good it is. But that's not the only Jurassic that I got. I went to Target yesterday and I found some new stuff. I never find things in the stores anymore, but I did get Hammond Collection Owen Grady. And I'm actually surprised because usually their humans aren't very good looking, but this one actually looks really good. Don't look at the picture, look at the figure. He actually looks really good. He's got 2 heads. I know it's kind of pixelated and stuff here, but I got him. I got Hammond Collection Dimetrodon. When I was checking out at the store, the lady was like, these dinosaur names are hard to say. It's like, yeah, it's Dimetrodon. I told her it's Dimetrodon, thinking that she was going to repeat it. But she just like looked at me like, you're so weird. But yeah, and it's not even a dinosaur. It's a synapsid. Dimetrodon wasn't a dinosaur. But anyway, it's cool. I know some people have been having a problem with the eyeballs and like not being in there or something. So I hope that's not the case on mine. And then I got another Jurassic toy yesterday at Target. And this is the character that took so long to get as an action figure. This is Barry Sembene. You can see him right there. He's from Jurassic World. He's also in Dominion for a little bit. You can see him on his ATV. And there's also a green raptor in there. So I'm really glad that they made Barry. The only thing is he wears a pink shirt in the movie, but because Mattel has to Mattel, they give him a yellow shirt. Like, why Mattel? Like, seriously, like, why? He needs a pink shirt, not a yellow shirt. I feel like they did that on purpose, honestly. Like, Mattel does some really weird things with the Jurassic line. And I hate to say it, but they make some really, like, non-girl friendly decisions when it comes to how they, like, we still haven't gotten Claire in the Hammond collection. We never got her in the Amber collection, which was the larger scale figures. And they haven't done, they did over Dominion. She's really tall for some reason, but they haven't done one from Jurassic World, the first Jurassic World. So, and I think that's part of the reason that they gave Barry a yellow shirt, not a pink shirt, because they thought it might affect sales if there's a man wearing a pink shirt. That's my opinion, and it's weird because Mattel also manufactures Barbie, but I've been collecting that line, not all of it, but that line since 2018, and I've really slowed down in the last year or so on it, but my observation has been that they don't do a lot of great stuff for like their women action figures, unfortunately. They sideline them quite a bit, to be honest. Let's see. Other than that, what else did Victoria get? Victoria got a new friend. Doesn't have a name yet, but right before, it was actually the day after my last session, right before holidays, I got a new astromech. I bought this on, it wasn't eBay. I should know. It was like eBay. It was one of those stores, those online stores. So I met somebody, a local, not even a collector, but somebody that had this for sale from Galaxy's Edge. It does have the remote. It does work and everything. It is one of the Droid Depot droids. And it came with a different dome. It came with a clear dome, but then I went on eBay and bought an R5 dome on it to get put on instead. But yeah, he's great. They don't make the blue bodies anymore or the legs anymore at Galaxy's Edge because they discontinued the R series in blue. So yeah, so I had to get him from somebody that was selling it online. So it's a fun one. I love those droids. I got addicted once I made my first one. All right, then the last thing, and this is the one that ties into the Batman video. This was an eBay purchase. I mentioned that the Toy Biz Batman I showed you a little while ago was the very first Batman that I've ever owned, that I ever owned as a kid. My dad bought him for me. I still to this day don't know why he did, but he did. And the location that he bought that figure for me still exists, but it's no longer what it once was, which was a video rental store. It's now like a mattress store or something in my hometown. But I had to go on eBay and I had to purchase this. It's the same figure, but brand new on the card. And as you can see, it is unpunched, which is super rare on these Toy Biz figures from the late 80s. Yeah, so this is Michael Keaton Batman. The figure doesn't look anything like the picture, but you can see it right there. So some trivia about this figure. It actually came with multiple heads. There were like 3 or 4 variant heads, like just the shapes were different of the heads. And they each really do look different if you look at them side by side. And the one that I got as a kid, I wanted to make sure that the carded sample also had the same head. So I did that. And it also happened to be unpunched. So it's a really nice card. It's in pretty good condition. And what I'm going to do with that is next time I'm visiting my family in my hometown, I'm going to shoot a video going back to that location with my dad. And we're going to make a video reviewing, not really reviewing, but showcasing that original Batman figure. And that's why I had to buy the carded figure as well. So I may take the original Batman figure back to Texas, back to my hometown, and take it back to that location where it was purchased and just, with my dad kind of do a little video, which will be, I haven't done anything like that before. So it's going to be something fresh. Like, I don't make a ton of videos. I'm very busy. I got a lot going on. But when I do videos, I want them to be purposeful and I want them to be meaningful. And I want them to live up to my personal standard of what a VC video should be. I want it to maintain that VC quality. And I want it to have a specific, to do something unique that hasn't been done on this channel. Because for years I did toy reviews and that's all it was. It was like clockwork. Review a toy, review a toy. Oh, it's this color. Oh, the articulation, the arm goes like this. The leg goes like that. Here it is next to another figure that was made a couple years back. Like, okay, that's all well and good. There's definitely a place for that on YouTube. But back when I started doing that, there weren't a lot of people doing that. I don't even know there were any other women doing that, to be honest, back in like 2013 when I started doing this. But I did that for years. And then I just got to a point where it's like, why? Like, maybe I can contribute in other ways. So that's when I kind of started, scaling back on the quantity of the videos and focusing more on the quality, focusing more on what unique perspective, what unique topic can I cover that's going to do something different. It's going to give people something that they're not getting from other, toy review channels. So I don't do a lot of videos, but when I do, I intend for them to be meaningful, to be purposeful. So that's one of the videos I am working on. And then the Japan video, the collection video is out now. And I have a couple other ideas for videos. It's just all a matter of timing, finding time in the schedule to do it. Because you got to shoot, you got to edit, and you got to make sure that you have any figures or anything you need. And some of my stuff's in storage. So and even if it's not in storage, even if it's here at home, it's like, sometimes it's like, okay, I know it's here somewhere, but where is it? Like that kind of thing. So I am working on some new stuff. So hang in there. New videos on the way. I just got one up today. So, hey, there's hope. There's hope after all. Yeah. So you guys, it's been an hour and 49 minutes, going on 2 hours now. I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me this evening. I really, really appreciate it. First stream of 2024. It's January. It's a new year. It's a new time to shine in our own ways. So, spread that positivity. Spread the love. Focus on the optimism. Focus on what makes you happy, what you value as an individual. Focus on the people that mean the most to you. And that bring you joy. Focus on the things that make you happy, and if it doesn't make you happy, maybe it makes somebody else happy. Let that be what it is. Let's do, as they say, you do you, I do, that whole thing. Yeah. So come on, we're only on this planet for a short time. Let's make it count. And let's leave something behind that has a positive influence on other people, on the world. And let's make sure that, we're just spreading that positivity, spreading love, and we're taking care of one another, because you know, as far as we know, we only get this one shot to do things. And after that, who knows? Maybe there's something else, maybe there's not. But all we know for a fact is that we have this moment. The past is the past. The future is not yet written. But if we're present in this moment, we can make that whatever we want it to be. So stay strong, hang in there, be well, be safe. Thanks again to my guests, my two Chelseas that were on here, Miss Vance and Chelsea from the Boba Fett fan club. Thank you both for being on the show this evening. Really appreciate you guys who've been hanging out with me for the last almost 2 hours. Thank you for spending your Friday night here with me in the Cantina. If you missed part of the show, it will get published to YouTube. So you will be able to go back and rewatch it if you want to torture yourself some more. But yeah, thank you guys a lot. I'll be back next week. I will be on next week, and I do have a guest next week. It's going to be Jason. If you're on Instagram and you like action figure toy photography, he goes by Work More or Less. I've known him for years, seen him, you know, we've met, you know, a few times at Comic-Con and such. So he'll be on the show next week. That's the plan. And I'm already lining up other guests as well beyond that. We're going to have some repeat guests that you've seen before. We're going to have some all new ones that you've never seen before. And I'm really excited about it. So thank you guys. I see your comments right here for the birthday wishes. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys, all of you. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for hanging out. And thank you for being positive forces within this collecting community of the Star Wars fandom. And yeah, be well, be safe, take care of yourselves no matter where you are out in the galaxy. As always, I want to thank you for tuning into VC and tuning into Cantina Social Hour. Until next week, I will see you guys soon. Take care. Have a good night.